Greetings, YouTube visitors. What are you learning today that will help you better serve God? All right. Today I'd like to read an article I wrote back in April of this year, 2024, called Watch Silver. Are you paying attention? Well, yesterday we got a big movement in silver. We were up over $2 an ounce. I think it was around $2.15 an ounce. It just took off. Once it broke above 3250 resistance, it just shot up. A lot of people made, well, not a lot of people, but some people made a lot of money. Some people lost a lot of money because they were shorting silver. Something you really shouldn't be doing in a bull market like we have right now. You do so at your own risk. All right, so let me just get right into this article. All right. I predicted big moves for both gold and silver for the time period 2024 to 2028, possibly higher. And this prediction was made several years ago, I think around 2020 or 21. It's now coming true. People wonder how I came up with this prediction when most people weren't really even paying attention to silver. Well, I didn't study charts or do any fancy reasoning. It came basically by way of intuition. And I don't know, maybe call it a financial epiphany. I knew inflation was coming in the near future based on the spinning of the Federal Reserve System. And I kept seeing these figures, 2024 to 2028, over and over again. Now, I'm not saying this is some vision that came from God. It's just kind of intuition, like I said. And I really believed that we would see a big movement in gold and silver during this time period. Well, here we are, and it's happening now. One technician, a guy who was trying to predict day-to-day moves in silver and who had a rather large following on YouTube, asked me why silver would move during this time period and not sooner. I think he was on capital.com. And I don't know what I said at the time, but I said that it could possibly rise not just during these years, but up to 2030 and beyond. We see all-time highs for both. Well, we are now at $2,732, I think. $2,732 in gold. I think that closed on Friday, yesterday, since today's Saturday. And I believe silver broke above $33.30 an ounce. Okay, when silver moves, it can move rather quickly. So it went up over 6%, silver did yesterday. It took about 6 months back in 2011 for silver to reach an all-time high of $49 or a little bit above that, once silver broke above $21 an ounce. Currently, silver is trading at about half of its all-time high, which makes it relatively inexpensive. Now, this was back in April. It's trading it's trading more than half of its all-time high. I said about half of its all-time high. Well, that was around $50, so that would be $25 would be half of its all-time high, but we are at $33 now. Many, if not all, other commodities have already surpassed their all-time highs, silver being an exception, and it hasn't yet. A commodity bull market is in the making, and unless you hedge against the current inflationary trend, you will be hurt financially as energy and food prices skyrocket. And by the way, when they figure out inflation, they take out energy prices and food prices for some strange reason. And yet those are the very things that we need. Those are necessities: gasoline, energy, natural gas, things like that, and food, what you eat. Some experts are calling for $100 an ounce silver, and I can see that, but I can also imagine $200 or even $300 per ounce silver or higher if the price of gold hits $7,000 to $10,000 an ounce. Gold hit an all-time high today, and silver looks to be breaking out, but sometimes markets pull back to the breakout point and the resistance level becomes support. Again, this was back in April. Once resistance is broken, it's a great time to buy. Gold and silver are real money and have been historically for 5,000 years or so. The media will not encourage you to invest in real money, but they wish to entrap you in fiat paper dollars. But the dollar will eventually fail like all fiat currencies. It's interesting right now. the dollar index is over 103. And yet gold and silver are still climbing higher, which means when the dollar drops, when interest rates drop probably in November, we'll probably get a 25 basis points drop, possibly also in December. You're probably going to see gold and silver even go higher, unless it's discounting that and it falls back. We may get a pullback in that time period. We might be getting the soaring prices right now, and then when interest rates drop, who knows? Gold and silver might actually drop. It's hard to predict exactly what will happen. Entrepreneurs and speculators must be able to see into the future and take action when others are sleeping and not paying attention to overlooked opportunities. Some individuals will become wealthy over the next 4 years, and others will complain that their circumstances were lousy and terrible. Understand that you cannot control the weather, the seed, the soil, the wind, and the sunshine. You have to go with what you have and make no excuses for your finances, because you are responsible for what you do with what you have. To have more, you must become more. To become more, you have to read and study by putting substantial ideas into your mind and soul and let them simmer until you get the positive result you want. Working on yourself is so vital to get where you want to be in the long run. Don't you agree? Do that today and you'll be ahead of the crowd. All right, now, let's see. I don't know if I can pull up a chart real quick, but we were in a sort of a triangle pattern. We broke out in silver, and some people were expecting to pull back to about $29 or $30 an ounce. We may pull back there still, but I don't think we're going to pull back there anytime soon. I think now that we broke above 33 on silver, I think we're heading to 34, 35, possibly as high as $36 or $38 an ounce by November or December. So let's just see how this works. I'll take out my trusty calculator here, and let's just say you had a full contract of silver, which trades 5,000 ounces. A $2, and let's just say $2. It went above $2 an ounce yesterday, but let's just say $2. Multiply that by 5,000, and you get $10,000. Person could have made $10,000 just in a matter of minutes yesterday if they had been long one silver contract. But now there's another way to make money without having so much money in your account, because to have $5,000, to be able to be leveraged that much with 5,000 ounces, you have to have probably $25,000 to $35,000 in your account. Not everybody can do that. But you can trade what's called micro contracts. That is 1,000 ounce contracts. So you could have had 1,000 ounces and made $2,000. 2 times 1,000 is 2,000. And you could have made that money yesterday. Okay? So in gold, you can trade micro contracts also, which is 10 ounces. A full contract is 100 ounces. So, I don't know, I think gold went up about $25 yesterday, so a full contract would have made about $2,500. You understand the math? $25 times 100. But if you do a micro contract, 10 times 25, you only made $250, but still, that's not bad. And if you would have had a couple of those contracts, it would have been $500 or $750. All right? Now, this is one opportunity for the little guy to make money in their spare time, but you have to be willing to lose some money too. There's a risk involved. And that's why I advocate everybody owning real physical gold and silver before you ever start speculating. There's a lot of people speculating that have no physical gold or silver. So they can lose their money in the short run, playing the futures market, the commodities market, but in the long run, when gold and silver keeps going up, if they have the physical metal in their hands, they will make money. All right? So let's just say you have 500 ounces of silver, and we go from $33 up to $50. All right? 50 minus 33 is what? $17, and you had 500 ounces. You'd make $8,500 without doing any work. Just by having the money, you're going to protect yourself and hedge against inflation, because food and energy prices are not going down, folks. They're going higher. What are you doing to protect yourself? Is your income going up? in relationship to inflation? Most people's aren't. Therefore, your standard of living is dropping. Okay? If inflation is at, let's just say, 7%, it's much higher than what the government's saying, but let's just say it's, let's round it off to 10%. Let's say you're making $60,000 a year. You need to make $66,000 the next year. That's 10%, right? Just to keep up with inflation, assuming inflation is 10%. Sometimes people only get a 2 or 3% pay raise. Well, you're falling behind, folks. You're getting poorer, in other words. And the middle class is being destroyed, while the 1% are getting richer and richer because they're gaming the system, and some of them have access to inside information from what the Fed is going to do next. All right. Yesterday, we had not only silver as the number one leader, we had palladium, platinum, and copper, I believe. Those were the four metals that made their biggest move. But you're eventually going to see higher oil prices because if the war heats up in the Middle East, if something happens in the Straits of Hormuz, where a lot of oil goes through, at least 25% of the oil, I think, passes through the Straits of Hormuz, if I remember rightly, then you're going to see not just $70 per barrel oil, but you're going to see $100 a barrel oil, maybe $150 or even $200 a barrel oil sometime in the future. I'm not saying for sure, but it's very possible. I think we got up to $140 or $150 a barrel over 10 years ago, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, get some gold and get some silver. Silver is the poor man's gold. Silver is doing better percentage-wise than gold. And 1 ounce of silver is going to be easier to barter with or to trade with than 1 ounce of gold. Not everybody's going to have $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to deal with you if you have an ounce of gold. The big money, they usually keep their money in gold because it's easier to transport rather than all that silver. Okay, because the ratio to gold to silver right now is about 85 to 1, 84 to 1, which means silver is relatively inexpensive compared to gold. But historically, the ratio has been more like 16 to 1. So, and back, I think, in 2011, when silver hit almost $50 an ounce, the ratio, I think, was around 40 to 1. So, if we use that ratio right now, based upon let's just call it $2,730 gold, divided by 40, that would give you $68.25 per ounce of silver. But we're nowhere near that. Okay? We're less than half that at $33.33. All right. So, take some of that money out of the bank because they're not paying you very much interest. You're not keeping up with inflation. You're actually losing money, keeping money in the bank, and put it into some gold and silver. All right? We are in a bull market. We've got a breakout in gold and silver. Friday was a very good day for commodity traders, especially gold and silver traders. And I'm very bullish. I can see not just $50 an ounce. I can see $100 an ounce on silver in the next 2-3 years, okay? I could be wrong, all right? But it's a very good possibility. Many people are calling for much higher prices than that. There is a cup and handle pattern on the long-term chart for silver. A cup and handle pattern is considered very bullish. I'm not a professional technician, but I know a little bit about technical analysis. And when you see that cup and handle pattern, it goes like this, comes up like a cup, and then it continues up. And so anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's see what happens Sunday afternoon. If you're in California, I think the market's open around 3 p.m. on Sunday afternoon. And the real action might not happen until Monday or Tuesday. I suspect we're going to keep going higher. We might get a little pullback, but I think we're going to go higher. Who knows? By the end of 2024, we could see $40 to $50 an ounce silver. I don't know. We may only get up to 36 to 38. But it's going higher. All right? Hope you enjoyed this video, and bless you. Have a good day.